All right, welcome to another episode of the AI Live podcast. And I think for the first time, we're going to actually have some intro music. So let's see if it works.
Welcome to the show where we build life to entrepreneurs with something to prove. No scripts, no safety nets, just AI and drive. Marshall's got the cool plays making moves. This is AI Live.
All right, now I'm going to do like a fade out. Look at that. So nice. All right, so if you like the music, then we'll play it again as the outro, and you can rock on with our AI Live track that, of course, we built with our AI projects. And so I did my prep work in the AI Live director, and I asked it to go through. Of course, I asked it to build our slide for today's show, and I asked it to pick a title for our show. So its title is Automated Content Empire, and then the description is multi-platform content systems that work while you sleep. It's not like the sexiest marketing there, but our show director would like us to talk about how we're using multiple agent platforms and multiple AI platforms to do different things sort of in tandem and add value while we sleep. So I think we'll hit on that a little bit. Marshall, do you have any ideas? Because you and I don't talk about this before the show. We just wing it, which is why we have a moderately funny show, according to our show director. Do you have any thoughts on some things you think we could get into today?
I have a couple. I think we could, one, finish up that workflow that creates those images of our customers or our clients. And
that's a can of worms. Let's get into that. That'd be fun and disastrous. Okay.
Second idea would be, we could build. I know we've spoken about building the EOS part of RocketHub, but I didn't know if you wanted to show what that would look like in the beginning stages.
Yeah, let's throw out with that. Those are some fun ideas. First, I do want to circle back on a few things we did last week. We had an AI show director audition where we opened up the competition and maybe said Claude isn't the best at being our show director. So we tried Gemini, we tried Sim Theory, and they mostly failed. Although we thought maybe Claude sabotaged the competition to save its own job, which might have been, kudos to Claude. So, I did the same thing again today. I gave Claude a prompt and I said, go through our previous transcripts and, give us a direction and feedback on things we've done well and things we can do better. And so you're seeing that on the screen here. So we got 5 major insights, 3 biggest fail moments, and a performance analysis of our hosts. And then we've got a visualization. So of the episodes we've covered so far, you can see sort of a quick little recap. 5 major insights. So our show director thinks that our show is given these insights. AI native operations actually work. I hope so, because it's like our whole company. The 80% automation rule, that AI handles 80% of content creations while humans focus on strategic 20%. I actually don't think that's what we've tried to say. I typically think AI gets 80% of almost everything right away, and the last 20% can be painstakingly slow and sometimes never even happen. I don't know if you agree with that, Marshall, but that's what I was probably trying to say there. Anyway, so there's some other insights there. Biggest fail moments was episode 001, the endless hall of mirrors, because we couldn't get our Google Meet screen to work right. The missing microphone epic, so that was from last episode where you left your new podcast mic at home. And then we also had a Suno platform meltdown where we couldn't get our Suno platform with our song to load. So yeah, that's fun. We have a show where things are live, and so things don't always go. But here we have performance analysis of our hosts. I'll just go to the growth areas. Clay has frequent technical difficulties. Yeah, this is what I want to be known for as a AI tech CEO. Time management. Episodes run long or feel rushed. I don't know. We don't have a stated length for episode, but our show director maybe feels like we should be wrapping it up quicker. And then we need better audio quality, which I think we're getting fixed. And Marshall, you could definitely drive more conversation.
Sure.
You have equipment setup issues, and then you should be speaking more directly to the viewers. So those are 3 things you need to work on. And then here's the 3 things that we could talk about today, according to our show director. The great AI hiring spree, building a digital employee army. We could touch on how we use our Claude projects to build talent teams. That would be something I don't know if we've covered. AI fails in recovery theater. This was strange. I don't know where this came from. An idea about when robots revolt. I think this is the AI trying to drive the narrative on something that we don't want to get into. And then customer acquisition from lead to sale in 60 minutes. I don't know where that came from either. We don't really talk about lead generation at all on the show. So kind of a miss there on the last 2. But then I thought, you know what? What if we try Astra as our show director? We talked about Astra in the last call, which is our own internal agent that's connected to all of our data. So I took the same prompt into Astra to please summarize our shows so far, give us 5 insights, 3 biggest fail moments, and then note what we could do better, and then show us the options. And it gave us a really nice long response, which I don't want to read. So I'll just do the visualization here. I should have done it before the show started because it takes a minute or 2. And Astra's going to give us the visualization, which, I forgot to share the tab. There we go. So this is Astra now, which is our own internal multi-capable agent. And now Astra is going to give it a run and see if it can be our new show director. Marshall, you've worked with Astra. What do you think so far? And do you think it'll be okay at doing something like this?
Yeah, since we did a little bit of experimentation on the last show with Astra and tried to make it our show director, it did a decent first-time job of it. But I'd like to see if we can improve our prompts and figure out if we can make it like a true show director.
Yeah. I don't think we tried Astra on the last show. I thought we tried Gemini 2.5 and we tried Sim Theory. So I think this is a new area that we're trying. All right, so Astra's come back with its visualization. It didn't really nail the visuals on the visualization. It's got a little bit of work to do. But let's look at the next episode's suggested topics. Building interconnected AI agents. That's very similar to what Claude had said. Advanced AI data security and ethical content generation. So apparently it's sensing that we are maybe being a little loose with our content. And then partial practical application of MCP tools. I do think doing MCP tools would be a really interesting topic, but maybe not today. Maybe we'll do it in the future. But the idea of connecting your AI to other software using MCP tools is definitely a hot topic that's been going around. And then let's look at the things that Astra thinks you should work on and I should work on. Better preparation for future shows to avoid running out of material. It's saying Marshall should do a better job. That's my job. Apparently, Marshall should be doing a better job at my job. And then enhancing effectiveness in querying Claude to get more precise automation workflows. Again, that's typically my job. So Marshall, do a better job at doing my job is what I like Astra. And I need to improve screen sharing and audio setup. And then I need to ensure stricter adherence for factual and brand aligned content to prevent fabrication. So Astra's a little heavy then, and that, maybe we're not being factual and honest in our podcasts. I take offense. Maybe it's because we accused Claude of sabotaging, and Astra is maybe trying to defend its its cousin there in Claude. So this is a Gemini-backed technology, not a Claude-based technology. Anyway, so let's do this. We've talked about our show director. We have talked about Astra in doing this. Do you want to get into the agent workflow that's powering Astra and give any thoughts or updates or explanations since you and I've been working on this all week?
Yeah. So for Astra, as you can see, we use a graphical user interface to interact with the agent. And every time we send in a prompt, as you can see here on the second node that looks like brackets, we run through it, the prompt, and we pass over into the agent important information and parameters that are pulled from the prompt, kind of like dates or type of document that we are looking for.
Yeah, by the way, this code got redone today. It's now almost 1,000 lines of code just to interpret the prompt that comes in. So the language prompt comes in English, and it's 1,000 lines of code before it hands it off to the agent to actually do something about it, which I think is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you haven't seen this too? I added Brave Search to it, so now it can search outside information. So if I say to it, please summarize how our AI company and products compare to other leading AI companies trying to do similar things, it can now understand all of our information and then go out and do external research outside of our own company and give us a comparative analysis. So that was connecting a new tool, but it was also changing the code in the processor to understand when we ask questions like that, what to do with it, and then changing the instructions in the agent to be able to know how to use outside research. So that was something that got added to Astra this morning. And so far it's been doing a pretty good job, but we're gonna see how it does now. It takes a little bit longer because it's not just searching our internal information, it's searching probably 10 or 15 other outside informations, but it should give us the source material of what it checked at the same time. So here we go. We got the response back. Let's see if we can just highlight that, the response. So it's talking about a differentiated approach to entrepreneurial AI optimization. Here's our core strengths. Here's how we compare with other leading AI companies. Oh, it's even comparing us to OpenAI and Google. So I think we should post an article right away that we are now being mentioned in the likes of OpenAI and Google. It happened, it was true. And then here's the meeting sources, right? It pulled all the transcripts of all of these internal meetings. There's quite a lot of information there. It pulled our strategic documents, our VTO products revenue plan, and then look at the list of external research that it did from different sites and articles and things like that. So I think it's got a pretty impressive reach of information that it can grab on a single query. And I wonder how Astra would visualize this. So if we take the same query, because this is Astra, this is just the inside of Astra, not the pretty side of Astra. So if I take this prompt and put it in the pretty part of Astra, and let's share this tab here. So here's pretty Astra, right? Astra looks nice, nice colors. And let's ask Astra to do the same summary here, which it's going to respond with the same, pretty much the same exact response, but we're going to ask Astra to visualize it so we can see it in a graphic layout instead of reading it on text. All right, so while Astra's doing that, I'm going to go back to the workflow here. And I know we talked about it last time, the vectorization. So somebody was asking me the other day, how do we get our documents into vectorized databases? And I can show how we do it. but I thought, Marshall, you could explain a little bit about what is actually going on here, because this is what gets our documents into vectorized mode. And I don't know if you've seen this mode, this node at the end, but this is the actual document vectorizer here that's connected to OpenAI's embeddings here. So do you want to walk people through what a workflow like this even does?
Yeah, so this is our vectorization workflow for Astra. Basically, we record all of our meetings and we document them, and we also record important emails, interactions between us. As you can see in the two nodes at the top, the Google Drive node and the Gmail node. From that drive, we take the recorded transcripts from our meetings and our important emails from Gmail, and we combine them, and we start to do this process called vectorization, where we take these documents and we're able to turn them into ones and zeros or computer language so that our agents are able to understand them more, especially when we put them into a database. So this takes all that info, turns them into ones and zeros, vectorizes them, puts them into our database, and then it makes it 10 times faster for our agent to be able to query through and find the correct documents based on the prompts that we're giving it. And so that's just the basics of the workflow. If I could go on forever for each code node and stuff that we have in there, but that's the basic explanation.
Yeah, I think one other thing to point out is it's not just the vectorization that's important, it's the categorization and the metadata that gets added. So when you ask the agent a question like summarize our last leadership meeting, yeah, it can go through 10,000 records pretty quick, but it needs to understand which records belong together and which ones are associated with our leadership team and which ones are associated with our most recent meeting. And it does that by grabbing bits and pieces of information that are also in the table that are a guide to which records to grab. It doesn't have to read 10,000 records of data to figure out which ones are from our most recent meeting. That would take it too long. And eventually it'll be 100,000 records and 1,000,000 records. But it follows little guidance tags to figure that out. And this process flow adds all those tags. It structures the data as well as vectorizing it. So getting AI connected to all your data is a hot topic that people are talking about right now. But if your data isn't vectorized, your AI agent won't be able to ingest it or find it as fast as you need. And if it's not structured correctly with the right tags and names and metadata, which is like all the information about when it was created, what type of file is it, what other files go with it, it's going to have a really hard time finding the right information when you ask it. It's going to give you partial correct information. Because if you ask it to summarize your last leadership meeting and it pulls information from the last 9 meetings you've had, then you're not going to have really accurate answers when you ask it, what are the follow-up items to do for this meeting? It's going to give you stuff that was mentioned a month ago or 2 months ago, or stuff that wasn't even from a leadership meeting. And so you don't want those kind of results.
Right.
So let's go back to Astra, because Astra now has done the visualization, or did it? Hold on. Oh, I think I'm in the wrong one. No, I'm not. Here we
I
go.
think you prompted it, but you didn't create the visualization yet.
Oh, I did create the visualization. Huh. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Well, we don't have the visualization, so we're still back to where we started. So maybe we talk about something else. Oh, last week also this happened. We let our AI live show director kind of take over the show and say, hey, if you were just to do the show this week without Marshall and I, go ahead and write the transcript for the show and then write a recap of that show. And it actually did it. It created an episode called The AI Live Show Director Takes Over. And without actually Marshall and I doing the show, it created a podcast recapping the show that it would have done on its own, which is like, it's like a dream within a dream, like Inception. It's like the Matrix type thing. But it actually put it together and put the show notes together too. So you can see it has like the AI director has taken over the show, welcome to the first hijacked episode, the big breakthrough. But it actually talks about it like you and I, Marshall, were on the show, even though we weren't. So it was like predicting what you and I would have been talking about, which was kind of cool. But it made up all this content, and then it recapped its own content. And then, of course, we pushed it out as a real podcast because that's just too much fun. So now you can listen to this on Apple or Spotify or even YouTube. You can see here, and it did the cover image, which I think was kind of weird because you and I are in like sports coats, which we never have been ever. And you know, I don't know how it's generating. I don't know why it thinks that's what we look like. But so now we've got these recaps, and of course you've got our full, like, boring, long, like just human episodes that you can also watch on YouTube as well, which is here. If you go to our YouTube link, you can see the AI live generated recaps, and then you can see our full episodes here if you're into that kind of thing. But let's go back and see what Astra has done. So Astra is not really nailing the visual presentations as much as earlier today. So I don't really like this headline block, but below this is not bad. So this is giving us the comparative analysis on our company versus other companies. And it's okay. I think I'd need to have Gemini retooled on how to create these. But it does have a lot of like charts and graphs with big numbers and revenue projections and nice cool colors. And it's got error and warning signs and things like that. It's exactly the kind of thing that we should just send to our investors and tell them, by the way, we're now competing with OpenAI. So I think Astra did a great job on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of run through the low-hanging fruit on the list. Let's see, which of the two items that you mentioned do you think we should jump into next?
Oh, since we kind of had the workflow already built out for the image generator, maybe we could take a look at that.
Oh, yeah, let's go back there. Let's share this. That was, remind me, was it the...
I can't remember what we labeled it. Yes.
Visualization agent. So, yeah, walk us through the original idea behind this. This was from episode, I think it was like our second episode. This was one of the crazy ideas that our show director came up with. But yeah, walk us through the premise here.
Yeah, we basically came up with the idea that we should send emails to our users if they weren't earning enough fuel points. Almost kind of like a scare tactic where the image shows like a worse version of yourself if you decide not to lead your healthiest life by using Health Rocket. And that would generate an image and be like, hey, if you don't earn fuel points soon, then this is probably what you're going to look like. But then we also came up with the idea that what if we also sent like a better version of yourself, like you'd rather look like this. And so basically this is what the workflow is for here. So yeah, you got the webhook. It takes your information, figures out if you've been earning fuel points recently or not. And if you haven't, then generates image, sends email, and then you get a confirmation if it's been sent or not.
Yeah, so pretty crazy product that could definitely make people really happy or upset, depending on how they view it. We could jump back into our Claude project and see if we can make some improvements on it. We haven't set this up to really run live, which is probably a good thing. We'd have to add an email credential to send this motivational email. But right away, I would tell you we would delete this node here, and we would add a Gmail node instead, because our AI agents do have Gmail nodes. So we can add something like send a message here. And we've got, yeah, like Cosmo has its own email. So this would be perfect for Cosmo to send out because Cosmo is our Health Rocket agent. And then, yeah, we'd have to set up the parameters inside of it. But for right now, I'm going to just leave those there. We're going to disconnect this. What did we do there? Okay, we're going to disconnect this. Oh, well, get out of the way. There we go. And then this is how you connect nodes if you've never seen it before. It's super hard. You just boom, boom. Right? It's actually really satisfactory to connect the nodes. It's like Lego bricks. And then we'll save that, but it can't run yet. So this is what I suggest. We'll download this as a file, and we'll go back into the Claude project that was building this for us. We'll share this tab. We will take this download and we'll upload it to the chat. And this is our visualization agent. And we say, this is our health goal visualization agent, right? And here are some improvements we'd like to make. So right now it's just set to send a positive image. I think that's what it's set. Generate a health vision prompt, and then generate a future self image. So it's only set to build a healthy version image of people. So I'm going to give it a few things I'd like to do. I'm going to say also create a negative health image that would scare people into taking more healthy action. I'm going to say every day make a random decision to send a healthy or scary photo to each user, right? So that's definitely going to make people happy if we do that. Marshall, what do you think? What other improvements can we make to this workflow?
Well, we should probably specify that the image is going to be of the user. Yeah, that doesn't just create a weird image and send it to someone.
Yeah, and say let's connect some nodes that, should we just tell it that we'll search social media to find photos of our users, definitely without their consent? I think that's fair. Again, we're not planning to actually do this. We're just theoretically, although our US show director keeps telling us we really need to keep making this product because it's a super viable product for our business. So we keep saying that we're not actually going to make it, but we reserve the right to change that at any point in the future. Okay. What are some other things? What about, should we give any guidance or direction on the background or the setting? Like, should we have healthy people like playing sports and then, but like scary photos, people are like, you know, like they've fallen down on the ground, or like they are sitting on, they're on a couch sunken in so far they can't, like, we should have some sort of a setting so people aren't just like, you know, standing in front of a green screen for their photos.
Yeah, maybe.
So let's say we're going to give direction on the background settings for the images, but then we need for healthy images show the user doing incredible feats of strength, right? That's what people to be doing when they're doing that. For the scary photos, show them the consequences of their horrible life choices, right? So let's let it decide what to do with that kind of a background. And then four, I think we need to, because we don't want to actually get sued or lose our business. Let's say create a way for us to test this feature without using it on live customers. Yeah, we definitely need to do that.
Yeah.
We get this thing. And then Yeah, so that's it. I was going to add 5. Please make sure we don't get sued or become social media meme examples, but I hit the return button before it could go. So, oh, look at this. Claude is unable to process this request. I wonder if we trip some internal thing in Claude. Like somebody just got a notification that we're trying to do something that we shouldn't be. So that's not a good thing. But let's make sure. Let's do this. 5. We are only kidding. So please don't report us for bad behavior. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Let's try to go with this. So yeah, I don't think we actually got, reported there, but there are internal measures that Claude and other AIs have to track and report negative behavior that they would not like to see happen on their platforms. And there's even cases where authorities have been notified. So I don't think we're in the gray area yet. I don't think we're anywhere close to it, but just in case, we made sure that AI understands that we're only kidding. So it can't be considered bad behavior. All right, so it's building the workflow agent for us here, which means it's going to take a minute or two to spit out all the code, and then we should be able to export that directly into our in account, and we'll see what kind of flow it has, and it should have all the instructions and nodes to do what we've asked it. But I don't know. What kind of, I know, Marshall, you were working on a list of other potential workflows that we might be able to use for our internal operations that are definitely more serious than this. What kind of things you've been working on this week?
Yeah, there's 2 big ones that I've been working on. One is there's a workflow that I really want to do that would create a meshed fuel point system where we would be able to gamify all of our products and use a coherent scoring system for it. So that, as someone that's subscribing to our products, it's just consistent across all 3 of them. Still working on how that's going to work because we don't have RocketHub EOS set up, or the RocketHub AI, I guess. I'm not sure how that's going to look gamified in RocketHub AI. So there's a lot of working parts. But then also there's a few workflows that would be used for predictive analysis or predictive rocks for RocketHub EOS whenever we decide to create that software, because it would be a very powerful tool to be able to predict what your next rocks are, your goals at quarterly meetings, and have suggestions like that from AI. And so, yeah, those are the 2 big workflows I've been really looking at.
Okay, so we're starting to get some returns here from Claude. So, yeah, I do think it's important to circle back, because I think in the context of things, it may only be 5% of people or 10% of people, but I don't think it's any more that will probably ever build their own workflows like we're building, or get into the details of putting nodes together. And I think right now you still need a good bit of expertise to be able to do it. Maybe in the future, AI will just be able to do it based on a conversation, which is kind of like we're halfway there right now. We're just conversing with Claude, and Claude is building the workflow, but there's still a lot of human involvement in it that is learned over time. But I think it's important, if you have a business, to understand what these agent workflows can do. You may hire somebody to do it. You may come up with ideas yourself, and somebody else may do it. But if you don't understand what the agent workflows are capable of, it's really difficult to even put your company on a path to get there, or to utilize it or use it. So, if you're watching this and your takeaway is, well, I'll never build that. Yeah, you might be, but you could understand how it works, so then you could have a vision for how to use it going forward. All right, so Claude is really building a long thing here, but it did give us the code, right? So we can now download this. Oh, it does this sometimes. Claude sometimes will give us the workflow code, but it will not put it in a JSON. format, so I can't actually grab it because it only lets me download it in text, and I can't use text. So this is an annoying error that I wish Claude did better. So I have to wait for Claude to finish giving me this really lengthy setup guide, which I don't need because all I'm going to do is just copy and paste the JSON. So it's doing all this unnecessary work. I want it to stop so then I could tell it, I need you to give me the JSON code instead of a text code. So I'll just say that. JSON code instead of TXT code. All right, so it should understand that really quickly, and it should know that it's still trying to spit out instructions. I wish that you could turn a setting on to Claude to just be like, be brief, dude, because it is really trying to do way too much in this prompt than I wanted it to do. Okay,
Right.
finally finished. Finally. Okay, great. I knew it was wrong in like the first minute. So, and it's going to go, of course, like, oh no, it's just going right to work. Sometimes it gives you this lengthy apology, like, oh, I knew this was on the whole time and blah, blah, blah. But it looks like it's just going to give me the corrected answer, which is good.
Nice.
Yeah, except it's just going to keep, chugging along. Anyway, so we're going to get some JSON code. We're going to throw it in. While it's doing this, I think we can go back to an earlier idea that we talked about towards the beginning of the show. Come back to a project, please. Oh, it's like, there we go. Okay. And how to use a Claude project to build another Claude project. Or you could use a custom GPT to build another custom GPT or things like that. So we have Claude projects like our agent builder here, which we were just in, which is still doing work for us. And you notice, I mean, we've got very detailed instructions about how the agent builder should work. And as you can see from the screen, I didn't write these instructions. Marshall didn't write these. We used AI to write the instructions for AI, but we do it a few different ways. One is within the project itself. Every once in a while, I'll give a prompt and I'll say, based on all the context and all the chats, do you think that there are any updates that should be made to your own project instructions? So it's like pulling an employee aside at an annual review and saying, based on your job as you know it now, is there any updates to your job description? Do you think that would make sense? You could do that with your project as well. So that's one of the ways. Another thing is we have a document inside of the project. Oh, this is not the right one. Where are we here? Yeah. We have a document inside of the project that it's called like a guidelines document. So this guidelines document is really like the expertise of the project. So it has an instruction base, which is like its job description, but this is like the expertise of the document, meaning in another project, we went and we said, okay, who are all the visionaries and the experts at doing automated workflow designs? And what principles do they teach as best practices? And then we made a document there and we brought it into this project. So this is kind of like, who are the experts in marketing and branding? You would make that guidelines document, and then you would put that in your marketing and branding project. So you give it guidelines to follow best practices. This is basically the genius of your project, because instead of pulling from every best practice known to man, it's pulling from a defined set of best practices. So you can see here, there's a lot of smart people that are referenced in this design principle guideline that are way smarter than me, but our project follows their guidance, not mine. I guess in the context, still following my prompts. But that's one way to do it. And then another way is we built a project. It's kind of like our HR director. And when we need to find a new talent team for a new area, like an investor relations director, I haven't done this yet, but we could go out and find who are the best investor relation directors in the world, and what guidance do they teach about how to handle investor relations. And then we put together that document, and then we go give it to our investor relations project. So then every time we're issuing a new update to our investors, it's following guidance and best practical solutions from the best companies in the world who've done a really good job in investor relations. So you could just do that all day long. But let's go back to our agent builder who was working on this visualization, and let's see. Okay, so we asked for the JSON code, and dang it, it's still giving us text. Okay, so now this is very annoying. Your last artifact is only available to download as a TXT, but I need JSON code, please. Yeah, so this should, well, the last one should have fixed it, but this should definitely fix it. And if not, I think we're just gonna have to abandon the idea and push it to the next episode, because our AI live directors pointed out that we keep going too long. Yeah, okay, so you can see by the colors here that it is now putting out in JSON code. I don't know what that means, but I just know whenever I see multiple colors involved that it is JSON code versus text code. So it finally got the hint that it needs to push JSON code out, and now we have to just wait for it to do it again. All right, while we're killing time here for another 2 minutes before we put this code in, what is one thing you're looking forward to doing this weekend, Marshall?
I'm looking forward to going to the home opener for the Cardinals this weekend. That's going to be fun. They play the Panthers, so going to get some tailgating in.
Yeah,
have a good time. Yeah,
I mean the Panthers. That's probably like one of the few teams they might beat. So that could be a pretty good game for you guys.
right. Yeah, I mean we're not going to have a great season, so it's good. At least we have 2 easy games. We beat the Saints last week. They're terrible, so or get 2 easy games, and then probably it's just doom and gloom for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you can peak at your week 2, undefeated. Just print the T-shirts in week 2, undefeated, and then you just go celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
what about you, Clay? What are you doing this weekend?
Going to the Bronx Zoo with my wife tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
Oh wow!
Play some ultimate frisbee on Sunday. So
Nice.
Some good adventures on both days. All right, let's try this here. We finally got JSON code. Download as JSON. Perfect. Now let's throw it in our N8N instance. Let's share this tab instead. Now I'm going to add it to this one here, which already exists, because I want to see the difference between the two. So I'm going to import this from file. If you ever wanted to just start building a workflow, this is really the easiest way to do it. It's just to get Claude or GPT to output a JSON and throw it in. There we go. Okay, so more nodes, more messiness here. And we'll have to work on this next week, but we're testing this. Well, we won't test it now, but this in theory is the exact workflow that we asked for, but of course we need to test it next week. So I think we should wrap it up with that, because we're not going to get into that now. And as promised, we do have the rest of our AI live theme. So I think we should turn the rock and roll on and rock it out on the exit. All right, Marsh, good episode. And let's rock out the exit.
It does not sound like it's coming from your computer at all, unfortunately. I can't hear any of the song. I don't know why. But
No, you're not hearing it now?
I can hear it. It's coming from like your computer, I think. Huh.
All right. Good show. And we'll keep working on the audio quality.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys later.
See you guys.